My name's Thomas Mercer, and until about 3 hours ago, I thought I was living the American dream. Two-story colonial. White picket fence. I actually painted myself like a suburban superhero. A golden retriever named Gatsby because my wife, Caroline, wanted our dog to have literary aspirations, and a lawnmower that made stripes so clean the HOA newsletter practically wrote sonnets about them. I'd been in Chicago for 3 days. Schmoozing clients and pretending quarterly projections are a thrilling hobby. Miraculously, the CEO made a decision without birthing a subcommittee, so the meetings wrapped early. I pictured the grand surprise. Me at the front door with an overnight bag. Caroline squealing, takeout tie, trashy Netflix. Maybe adult activities that don't involve her scrolling Instagram while I pretend to care about a baking show. Traffic from O'Hare to the suburbs was the usual group therapy session for the chronically furious. But I was pumped. I pulled into our driveway at 4:30. Caroline's silver BMW was doing its usual impersonation of geometry's worst nightmare. 1 3/4 parking spaces, because of course. I grabbed my bag, practiced my honey I'm home grin, and reached for the door. That's when I heard her voice through the screen, a lilting, breathless tone she reserves for new shoes and vacation itineraries. Bradley, we've talked about this. The divorce papers are ready. With his temper and the recordings, my lawyer says I'll get at least 70%. Recordings? I froze on my own porch like a garden statue of an idiot. 15 years of marriage. And apparently I'd missed the chapter where my wife became a documentary filmmaker. She kept talking. Once it's over, we can be together. No more sneaking. Just you, me, and enough money to do whatever we want. Bradley. As in Bradley Morrison, her boss at the gallery. Perfect beard, fancy suits, says gallery like it rhymes with salary. We've clinked glasses at Christmas parties while he planned a home invasion of my life. Caroline laughed. Not her dinner party titter, the real laugh I used to love. Thomas will never see it coming. He's so predictable. More married to that lawnmower than to me. Okay, that hurt. I like my grass. I don't cheat on my wife with it. Then she said the line that turned my blood into a snow cone. The recordings are perfect. I've been editing them for months. Little clips of him losing his temper, raising his voice. Exactly what we need. I should have barged in, kissed her, asked about her day. Instead, I learned that Pandora's box is actually your own screen door. She wrapped up the call, said she needed to practice looking surprised for when I came home tomorrow. Cute. I took a breath, stapled a smile to my face, and walked into my own execution. Her performance was Broadway. "Tommy!" she squealed, fuzzy slippers slapping the hardwood. Hug, perfume, the whole soldier returns from war routine, except my battlefield had been a conference room with bad coffee. She offered dinner at a French place with plates the size of manhole covers and food the size of postage stamps. I said yes because the show must go on, even if the show is your marriage imploding in slow motion. All evening she was sunshine. Ask about my day, complain about traffic. Bradley's such a pain at work. The audacity. Complaining about the man she was actively cheating with. I nodded, sipped irony, and smiled like an extra in my own life. That night she slept like a baby. I stared at the ceiling and felt the butter knife I'd brought to the gunfight. Then I did what any traumatized suburban husband does at 3 a.m. Googled best divorce lawyers near me. The name that kept popping up was Patricia Hendress. Nicknames included the Shark, the Destroyer, and the divorce attorney who makes other divorce attorneys cry. Her reception area had leather chairs that cost more than my car and law books shelved like a military parade. Patricia herself was 50-ish, silver hair, eyes like searchlights, handshake like a verdict. "Mr. Mercer," she said, "your wife is planning to ambush you with manufactured recordings and an affair with her employer. She tried to hire me. I declined. Of course she did." Patricia laid out the battlefield with the serenity of a surgeon. "You'll be the perfect husband, flowers, dinners, attentive. Meanwhile, my investigator will document the truth, and I will dismantle the story your wife is building out of lies." Enter Mark Sandler, private investigator. Average face, average height, eyes like forensic microscopes. Black coffee, no sugar, no nonsense. "I've seen your wife's type 100 times, he said. They think they're criminal masterminds. Mostly they're fans of legal dramas. He followed Caroline for a week. Photos of hand-holding in Millennium Park, long lunches, the Palmer House afternoon meetings. He mapped her patterns, same restaurants, same hotel, same parking spot, like a nature documentary on predictable predators. Then came the digital autopsy. Bank records, cash withdrawals that lined up perfectly with her trysts. 3 new bank accounts funded from our joint account. A prepaid card used for hotels, lingerie, gifts. For him. He recovered deleted texts, emails, voice memos where she practiced crying, and the crown jewel, professional audio editing software on her laptop. "Listen," Mark said, playing 2 files. "In one, I'm yelling, 'Touchdown!' at a Bears game. In her edit, that same shout becomes me screaming at her about dinner plans. She'd Frankensteined 17 recordings over 8 months. My voice, her lines, a fiction with excellent sound design." Patricia's team dug up the finances. Caroline was inventorying our life like a thief with a clipboard. Quiet appraisals, photographed statements, secret credit lines. She and Bradley had even placed a deposit on a condo in River North. New life fully storyboarded. Meanwhile, I built my fortress. Daniel Cruz, my financial advisor for a decade, speaks money like a native tongue and ethics like a Jesuit. We didn't hide assets. We armored them. The house moved into an LLC. Investments migrated into legitimate vehicles that are very visible and very untouchable. My consulting firm restructured across a few jurisdictions that make asset division a bureaucratic triathlon. We established charitable and educational funds, real, documented, restricted. From the outside, routine management. From the inside, Kevlar. Timing was everything. We finished just before she made her move. The doorbell rang on a gray Tuesday, the Ides of March, because apparently irony has a calendar. Caroline answered like she'd been cast as brave woman facing tragedy. A deputy served me. Petition for dissolution, motion for temporary support, and a request for a protective order. She clutched tissues, eyes glistening on command. "Your temper," she whispered. I was scared. Sure, of my dishwasher loading technique. The paperwork asked for 70%, the house, my car, and alimony that could feed a small nation. The protective order painted me as a volatile abuser with recordings and witnesses. It was a symphony of fiction written in legalese. She left to stay with her sister, suitcase pre-packed, exit line rehearsed. I hope someday you'll understand. I did understand, just not the way she hoped. Court day. Cook County Courthouse has that granite and gilt smell. Judge Margaret Chin presided. Presence like a lighthouse and a guillotine had a baby. Patricia sat beside me in her intimidation suit, calm as a bomb with a timer. Caroline entered in navy blue, professional yet fragile. Hair pulled back to signal too distraught for styling. Makeup subtle except for the carefully reddened eyes. She had a full cast. Raymond Keller, divorce lawyer with paid by the swagger. Energy. Dana Fletcher, best friend and star witness in Concerned Friend Chic, Doctor. Sarah Martinez, therapist to sprinkle scientific gravitas, and Bradley lurking in the back, trying to look like a random patron of the justice system. Keller gave his opening. Years of control, manipulation, financial abuse, eggshells, gaslighting. It was a hell of a story. He presented audio clips where I sounded like a villain on a public service announcement. He produced spreadsheets reframed as shackles. Caroline took the stand and performed a masterclass in delicate devastation. I almost felt sorry for the phantom husband she described. Almost. Then Patricia stood. Everything in the room shifted like the air before a storm. "What we've just seen," she said, "is masterful theater. Unfortunately, it is fiction." She called Mark forward with a laptop and played the originals. My "you never listened to me" was actually "you never listened to me explain why I worked late." My "I'm sick of this" was "I'm sick of this traffic." My maybe I should just leave was "maybe I should leave this networking event because it's boring." The courtroom got very quiet. Gaslighting meets sunlight. Patricia advanced to Exhibit B photos, hand-holding at a cafe. fingers intertwined leaving the gallery. Overnight bags at a hotel. The gallery craned to look at Bradley, who suddenly discovered an urgent need to study the floor. Then the witnesses. Patricia played a recording from Dana's living room, Caroline coaching her on how to sound convincingly terrified. "Stick to the emotional stuff," Caroline's voice said. "That sells the story." Next, the money. Screens filled with transfers Caroline had made, accounts she'd opened, credit lines she'd used to fund the affair, hotel rooms, dinners, gifts, charged to cards in my name. Finally, Patricia hit play on the nuclear option, a recording of Caroline and Bradley outlining the plan, laughing about my predictability, dreaming aloud about Europe on a 70% settlement. It's amazing how quickly a courtroom can go from theater to morgue. Judge Chin listened like a mountain. Then she spoke like a landslide. In 35 years, she'd rarely seen such a calculated attempt to defraud a court and an innocent spouse. Fabricated evidence, perjured testimony, hidden assets, coached witnesses, a conspiracy with breathtaking audacity and zero remorse. Caroline tried to talk. The judge held up a hand and you could feel the temperature drop 10 degrees. "Explain." "What? How you accidentally edited recordings? Accidentally moved $200,000? Accidentally rehearsed perjury?" Even Keller lost the gloss. Bradley vanished between exhibits. "Now, here's the part you'll like." The judge turned to me and said, "Mr. Mercer, the court finds your evidence credible and your conduct restrained. The court denies the protective order, dismisses the plaintiff's claims with prejudice, awards you exclusive use of the marital home, and, pending equitable division at trial, orders the immediate return of all funds transferred to undisclosed accounts." She referred the rest to the district attorney for potential charges. I didn't breathe until the gavel fell, and yet, as satisfying as justice can be, it tasted like ashes on the way home. 15 years had just been cross-examined and entered into evidence. You don't high-five your way out of that. I stood in my foyer with Gatsby wagging like the oblivious optimist he is. The house felt different, lighter and emptier at the same time. I looked at the stack of papers designed to ruin me and thought about every tiny choice that had led us here. The calls, the rehearsals, the angles in the driveway, the edited life. Then I did something small and ordinary. I made coffee the way I like it, 2 sugars, a splash of cream, and I drank it on the back step, where the lawn stripes run straight as a hymn. I'm not naive anymore. There will be more hearings, depositions, accounting, untangling the life we tied together. But I also know this: the best-laid plans of mice and men blow away in a hard wind. Caroline built a house of cards. I brought a fan and a paper trail. So if you're wondering what justice looks like, real justice, not the TV kind, it looks like a judge who won't be played, a lawyer who loves the truth like a blade, a PI who notices parking spaces, and a husband who refuses to be the villain in someone else's edited story. My name is Thomas Mercer. I still have the house, I still have Gatsby, I still make a mean diagonal stripe in the grass. And tonight, when the neighborhood book club debates symbolism and Bradley pretends he was never there, I'll sleep just fine. Because the next time someone says, "all assets to your ex-wife and her new husband," I'll smile. Not because I didn't see it coming, but because I know exactly what's coming next.